Welcome to Yehoshua's Daf Yomi Shiur, where the Daf continues daily until the complete revelation of Mashiach ben David, Messiah, son of David. Today, started to do something different, do the Daf outside. I'm here in the Shar Chesed neighborhood of Jerusalem, and I'm here on somewhat of a famous street for people in these circles. Rabbi Shlomo Zalman Auerbach's house was here somewhere. It was on this street. I think it was 5 Parus, but Parus, however you pronounce it. But he was somewhat of an icon in the Torah world, this was back in the 90s, and so I think he passed away in the late 90s, and so he lived here for many years on this street, like maybe this house, maybe somewhere here. But anyway, I think we'll do the daf today here. Found a little chair, we can do the daf. Today, over here on, over here, I don't know if it's a great background to look at, but maybe let's see here. Okay, this is better. Alright, so we're holding by, what are we holding? We are holding. In Tractate Chullin, page 111b. Actually, it's starting a story at the bottom of 111a. The last line of 111a, Rav Ashi Ikla, Levei Rami Bar Abba Chamuha Chazil Brei de Rami Bar Abba Dika. The Gemara. Okay, we're turning on to 111b now. Dika Shaped Kabla Lilave Visra Amar Kama Yahir Hai Berabadan Amar de Amor Rabadan Divad Echadchila Mi Amor. The Gemara relates that Rav Ashi. Let's see, there's a good view here. Okay, better. Yeah. The Gemara relates that that Rav Ashi arrived at the house of his father-in-law, Rami Bar Abba, and he saw that the son of Rami Bar Abba was, 111b now, skewering liver on top of meat or roasting. Rav Ashi said, "How haughty is this sage? Even if you say that the sage has stated that one may eat meat roasted under liver after the fact. Did they say that one may roast them in this manner ab initio?" Means lechatchila. The ikabe duge. Ikabe dugi. B'Israila v'kabden ami asir. The Gemara adds, and if there is a receptacle under the spit for the top drippings of fat, then even if the meat is on top of the liver, it is also prohibited to roast the meat, as the blood from the liver will fall into the fat in the vessel, and one might come to eat the mixture. The Gemara asks, and in what way is this case different from roasting a piece of meat by itself over such a vessel which is permitted? Here too the blood of the meat drips into the fat in the vessel. The Gemara answers, blood of most meat sinks to the bottom of the vessel while the fat floats on top. Since the fat can be separated from the blood, it is permitted. By contrast, the blood of the liver floats above the fat, and it cannot be removed from it, and therefore the entire mixture is prohibited. Amar Rav Nachman, Amar Shmuel, Sakin sheshachat ba asur lachtoch ba roteach. Soine namri lo boi yadocho. Nachman says that Shmuel says the knife with which one slaughtered an animal absorbs blood due to its heat, and it is therefore prohibited to cut any boiling food with it, since that food will in turn absorb the blood from the knife. If one cut cold food with this knife, some say the piece he cut requires rinsing before he may eat it, and some say that it does not require rinsing. Okay, next. Amar Yehuda Mishmuel Kara Shemalach Babaso Asur Lechol Baroteach Shmuel Tamed Yamar Shmuel Uliacharehu Karoteach Kavush Arehu Kimevusha. The Gemara cites other statements of Shmuel. Rabbi Yehuda says that Shmuel says, with regard to a bowl in which meat was salted, to remove its blood before cooking, It is prohibited to eat any boiling food placed in it, as that that food absorbs blood of the meat from the bowl, and in this Shmuel conforms to a standard line of reasoning. As Shmuel said, a salted food imparts its flavor like a boiling food, and a food item marinated in vinegar, brine, or the like absorbs flavor from the liquid or vessel, as would a cooked food. Kiyas Ravi Namru Yochanan Maliachin or Keroteach Kavush Eino Kemevushar Rabbi Had Rabbi Leze Tahipinka Dehavi Be Rabbi Ami Timalach Bebis Rabbi Tavre Bitavre Rabbi Ami Tavre Rabbi Yochanan Abba by time of the Tavre La Bishum Nishamina Le Mina Rabbi Yochanan Daman Balia Charehu Keroteach. When Ravin came from Eretz Yisrael to Babylonia, he said that Rabbi Yochanan said a salted food is not considered like a boiling food, and a marinated food is not considered like a cooked food. Abaye said, I can prove that this ruling that Ravin decided is not correct. As there was a certain bowl in Rabbi Ami's house in which meat was salted, Rabbi Ami broke it so that it would no longer be used. Now Rabbi Ami was a student of Rabbi Yochanan. What is the reason that he broke that bowl? Tavre. He broke it. Why did he break it? Is it not because he heard Rabbi Yochanan said a salted food is considered like a boiling food? Ravin's citation was evidently an error. Yasiv Rav Kahana Achud Rav Yehuda Kamed Ravuna Yasiv Kamed Karash Marach Baba Sara Asur Lechor Baroteach with Son Shikot Chavazak Himuter Lechor Likutach Kutach Habavli. Right. Remember that. Some kind of like milk, like rancid milk with stale bread. Babylonian delicacy of ancient times. Rav Kahana, the brother of Yehuda, sat before Rav Huna, and he sat and said, with regard to a bowl in which meat was salted, it is prohibited to eat any boiling food placed in it. And he added, with regard to a radish that one cut with a knife used for cutting meat, it is permitted to eat with kutach, a food that contains milk, even though the sharpness of the radish causes it to absorb the fat of the meat from the nahai. My time, huh? The Gemara asks, what is the reason? What is the reason? What is the reason? The Gemara asks, what is the reason to distinguish between blood absorbed in a bowl and fat absorbed by the radish? Abaye said this radish absorbs a permitted substance as the fat of the knife is permitted by itself, but that bowl in which meat was salted absorbed a prohibited substance, meaning blood. Amar le Rava, Kibala hatera my hava sof sof. Hayatera dasili de suha hudisua kachil. Elo amar Rava hay efshar limitame v'hay lo efshar limitame. Rava said to Abaye, and if the radish absorbed a permitted substance, what of it? Ultimately, if one desires to eat the radish with kutach, it is a permitted substance that leads to a prohibition, as he will eat a prohibited substance. Rather, Rava said, the distinction is that with regard to this radish, it is possible for a Jew to taste it before eating it with milk to see if it has acquired the flavor of meat. With regard to that bowl, it is not possible for a Jew to taste its contents to see whether they have absorbed blood. ולטמא כפיל הרמה מלוטנן כדרך שבישל בבשר לא יבשל בחלב. ואם בשל בנוסף טעם, בישל בתרומה לא יבשל בחולין, ואם בישel benoising tam. Her Papa said to Rava, but let a Gentile cook taste the contents of the bowl and see whether they have the taste of blood. Didn't we learn the Tosefta and Trumot 8:12 with regard to a pot in which one cooked meat? One may not cook milk in it, and if you cook milk in it, the meat absorbed in the pot renders the milk forbidden if it imparts flavor to the milk. Likewise, if one cooks truma in a pot, you may not cook non-sacred food in it, and if you cook non-sacred food in it, the non-sacred food is prohibited if there is sufficient truma absorbed in the pot to impart flavor to the non-sacred food. The Amar lan l'tameh kapilo, hachanami l'tameh kapilo, hachanami Ki kamina deleka kapila. And we said with regard to this braita, granted, one can know whether the non-sacred food has acquired the flavor of truma, as a priest can taste it. But with regard to the prohibition of meat cooked in milk, who can taste it? And you, Rava, said to us, let a Gentile cook taste it. So to here, with regard to the food in the bowl, let a Gentile cook taste it. Rava responded, indeed, a Gentile cook can discover whether the food in the bowl has absorbed the taste of blood. When I said my statement, I was referring to a case where there is no Gentile cook available. Itmar, dogim shalabikoro rav omar asulachol mikutach, b'shmul amar mutalachol mikutach. It was stated, if a fish was removed from the fire and placed still hot in a bowl in which meat had been eaten, Rav says, it is prohibited to eat the fish with the milk dish kuta, since the fish had absorbed meat from the bowl. And Shmuel says it is permitted to eat the fish with kuta. Rav amar asur b'nosin tamhu, Shmuel amar mutar b'nosin tam, debar nosin tamhu. The Gemara explains, Rav says that it is prohibited to eat the fish with kutach because this is the case of imparted flavor, meaning from the meat to fish, and Shmuel says it is permitted because the flavor is first imparted to the bowl, and only then from the bowl to the fish. This is therefore the case of imparted flavor derived from imparted flavor. The Hodarav, Lav Ferishit Mar, El Niklal Idmar, the Rav Iklal, Lebe, Shimi, Barchia, Bar, Bere, Chash, Beinav, Abdulay, Shepi, Betsia, Basar, Hachi, Ramule, Yeshua, Begavi, Tamle, Taman, Deshipia, Amar, Yehiv, Tama, Kule, Hai. The Gemara notes, and this opinion of Rav was not stated explicitly, rather it was stated by inference. As Rav arrived at the house of Rav Shimi Barchia, the son of his son, he felt pain in his eyes. They prepared for him an ointment in an earthenware bowl as a remedy. Later, they placed a dish for him. In that same bowl, Rav tasted in that dish the flavor of the ointment and said, it imparts so much flavor. Those present inferred that according to Rav, imparted flavor derived from imparted flavor is strong enough itself to impart flavor. The Gemara rejects this, but this is not so, and one cannot reach any general conclusions from the story. It is different there, as the ointment was very bitter. Okay, Rabbi Lazar, Havi Koyim, Kami, the Marsh, Wonais, and the Kami, Nagim. She Alu Bikara. People start hitting back now, lowering down batteries, so we'll just talk and walk, I guess. The Aisu, Kami, Dagim, Sha'alu Bikara, Bikachin, Vikutachi, Havile, Bikachi, Amalei, the Rabach, Yatvi, Le, Atlo, Achalt, As the Kami, the Rav, Amarle. Hadar Bey Mar Bishmate, Amarle Chas Le, Mizare, the Abba Bar Abba, Dresfe Le, Mide Lo Svira Li. The Gemara relates Rabbi Elazar was standing before Mar Shmuel, and they brought before Shmuel a fish that had been removed directly from the fire and placed into a bowl used previously for meat, and he ate it together with kutach. Shmuel gave Rabbi Elazar some of his dish, but Rabbi Elazar did not eat it, as he was a student of Rav who prohibited such mixtures. Shmuel said to him, to your teacher Rav, I gave this dish and he ate from it, yet you will not eat? Later Rabbi Elazar came before Rav and said to him, did the master retract his halacha? Did you permit this? Rav said to him, God forbid that the progeny of Abba Bar Abba, meaning Shmuel, would feed me something that I did not hold be permitted. Shmuel never fed me such a dish. Rav Huna b'Rav Chia bar Ashi havo yasvi chad b'hai gisa dima bara sura chad b'hai gisa dima bara lamar aisu le dagim shmila b'kara b'achal b'kutach lamar aisu le b'teinim v'anovim b'soich susuda b'achal b'lo barech. The Gemara relates that Rav Huna and Rav Chia bar Ashi were sitting down to eat. One of them was sitting on this side of the ford of Sur River, and the other one was sitting on that side of the ford. They brought one stage of fish that had been removed from the fire and placed in a bowl previously used for meat, and he ate it together with kutach. They also brought the other sage, figs and grapes during the meal, and he ate them, but did not recite a separate blessing over them, even though these foods were usually consumed following the main portion of the meal before reciting grace after meals, and a separate blessing was made on them. Mar Amar Ale lechavre yasma, avad rabach hachi umar amar lechavre yasma, avad rabach hachi, mar amar lechavre ana kishmo svirali, umar amar lechavre ana kerabi chia svirali. Ditani Rabbi Chia pas poteres kol mini machal, v'yein poes kol mini mashkin. One sage says to his colleagues, orphan, student without a teacher, would your teacher do this? Meaning eat a fish with kutach. And the other sage says to his colleague, orphan, would your teacher do this? Meaning eat these fruits during a meal without reciting a blessing over them. One sage said to his colleague, I hold in accordance with the opinion of Shmuel, who permits eating such fish with kutach. And the other sage to his colleague, well, I hold in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Chia. As Rabbi Chia teaches, the blessing over the bread exempts all other types of food eaten during the meal, including those usually eaten separately, following bread. And likewise, the blessing over wine exempts all types of drinks. Amar Chizkiyo. Mishum Abaya, Hilchos Delgim, Shalu Bekara, Mutar Leoichli Mikutach, Snoin Shechotcho, Besakin, Shechotch Babasar Asur, Leoichli Mikutach. Chizkiyo says in the name of Abaye, the haloche is if a fish was removed from the fire and placed into a bowl used for meat, it is permitted to eat together with kutach, but with regard to radish that one cut with a knife with which he had cut meat, it is prohibited to eat that radish with kutach, contrary to Rav Kahana's statement above. V'hani mili tznon, and the Gemara notes, and this statement applies only to a radish. And it brings us full circle to the Be'er. We started with the Be'er today. We're back to the Be'er.